This is Jason, and I just want to walk through the coTestPilot for Playwright. It's very similar for both async and sync Playwright. And there's also the Selenium version, which is for Python, which is also a very, very similar API. Way to download this though, because there's no pip install yet. You have to go down to the root, coTestPilot, and then download the zip. So you download the zip, and then what you get is just a bunch of folders, and it's pretty simple. And just wherever your code is that you're running, here's demo.py, but wherever your code is running, the idea is that you need to put that folder, the sync or async folder, right next to the same level of as your code. Here it's demo.py. So that's how we download it. It's pretty simple. There's not much to it, actually. There's a README, a report template, a testers.json. We can walk through all those in a second. And there's a init.py. That's where all the logic is. If we open cursor, so here's a demo. Here's a demo.py. So what you do is import the async Playwright or sync Playwright, import Playwright, of course, and also import async IO so that you can handle the asynchronous calls. And then we're just going to do a normal initialization of the Playwright. This is straight out of, the Hello World. And we're going to load the Selenium dev page, have the AI test it, do a little bit of testing for us. So we can do anything we want. So whatever existing code you have, to click things and get to any part of the application or project, whatever you want to do in your automation, you do. And then whatever point you want, you can call this little call here. And so we've added a new function call called AI check to the page object, to the actual Playwright page object to make it super simple. So we're going to just check the page with AI, and then you have a result. And the result is just going to be some bugs, if any, that the AI found on that page. And that's kind of it. There's an optional thing here where we can generate a report, and you don't even need the output directory. You'll just automatically generate an HTML report. So you can load it up and visually look at it instead of having to look at JSON files or copy it off somewhere if you don't have a reporting infrastructure. So let's go ahead and run that. If we just run it, it's pretty simple. So it's telling you which testers it's going to load. By default, it loads the Jason AI tester. He's a super awesome tester. And then another one called Aiden. And they test for different things, and we'll look at that in a minute. And so what's done is it's taken a screenshot of the application automatically and built some prompts based on the testers that you want to have testing. Send it off to OpenAI, and then retrieved results if there's any bugs, and then it writes them out. It's pretty straightforward. The only other interesting thing here is I didn't show you because it's a secret, but is you also have to set your OpenAI key as an environment parameter. So that's in the documentation. That's it. We've just added AI, a little bit of AI checking and verification to an existing test. So to dig a little bit further, let's look in here and let's look at testers. So by default, it comes with just a definition of different testers that test different types of things. Some are privacy, security, some are just basic app functionality, UI, whatever design. So you can have these testers, you can enable them or disable them. So by default, Jason and Aiden are used. If you want to have everyone test it, that's great. And you can also create your own. So all you have to do is create a new little entry here in the JSON, and you can call it whatever your name is and define it as someone that is like you, like how you would test the application, or someone that you think is an awesome tester, or someone that you wish you had on your team. And you can kind of build your team out, your virtual team out here, and manage it through just a little JSON file. So let's look at the init.py. Let's dig around here a tiny bit. There's a lot of just verbiage. There's like a lot of debug and logging kind of verbosity levels and stuff like that. But the interesting stuff is just two function calls in here. And part of this magic is to override the page object model so you don't have to think about it. And it feels like it's integrated. A little rate limiting just to not blow up your account on accident, which is a thing that happens. And here's this check function, right? So you can do all sorts of things. So custom rules is a parameter. It's super interesting. You can type whatever you want into that too. So you can say, hey, ignore accessibility issues, or super focus on the header, or something like that on the page. Like whatever you want, extra instructions you want to give the AI through the prompt, like a parameterized prompt, you just put it in here. Sorry, not through custom rules, sorry. Through the custom prompt. Yeah, so here you can add a custom prompt parameter where you can add any text that you want to override the other instructions. So if you want to say ignore accessibility issues or focus on something specific. For testing, I often use, hey, if there aren't any bugs found, at least make some up so I can do testing of the testing infrastructure. You can list the testers. So if you don't list any testers by default, it picks Jason and another profile. If you want to list them, you can list all the ones you want to match in just an array and just output files and stuff like that. Oops. Yeah, that's what I get for debugging. Just going to be wing it and be a little live here because I'm short on time. So we're going through here. It takes a screenshot, saves it out, picks the testers to use. By default, it's Jason and Aiden. If not, if they were specified, it picks all the testers that were specified. You can find them. Then it just does a prompt. There's nothing really mysterious here. Prompt basically asks it to look at the profile of the tester that we pass in. So we pass in the tester profile here. And we also have the page URL and the page text that can give extra context to the AI. So like if it knows it's google.com, it also helps it know that it's google.com or selenium.dev. It knows it's like, it knows other things about Selenium Dev, what to expect or what types of users might be using that page. There's other context. So let it trigger it. And then, I ask it to file bugs if it finds any. Oh, and a key here thing too is it's to make sure that it only returns other automation running at the same time. That it only returns issues that you can tell just by looking at the screenshot without taking action. So it helps it stop hallucinating or imagining there might be bugs. Yeah, here's the schema for the bug output. Yeah. And then it does that for each tester. It makes the call, gets the bugs, if any, that are returned, collects all those up and saves them out to files. And down at the bottom here, you'll see the check results, which is just kind of the hooks for things. And you call this report function. The report basically does what it goes through and generates a report, HTML report page. And you'll see that in a second of the test results. Pretty simple little schema, but it's just, a lot of people don't have reporting infrastructure. Or if you want to just visualize it really quick without parsing a JSON file manually, it's easy to visualize what bugs the AI found or not. This is a little magic that adds the functions to the page object model. And here's a function we use to call ChatGPT. Note somebody does have this connected and hooked up. Note somebody has the code to call out to Ollama. So you can use an open source or local LLM and also one that for Azure. But we just had to get the code merged. Yep, and that's kind of it. So let's go back and run it again. We'll actually we've already run it. So let's go back and so there's a log file that created screenshots. It dumped all the screenshots that it's been collects them there. And here's the check report. We can see Jason and Aiden did some testing and they think they found some issues. Incus and font sizes on the Selenium dev page. We can see it here. I think what it's doing is it thinks that it doesn't like the fact that this is a totally different font weight and everything than these other items, but maybe that's okay. It's kind of a simple page. Poor contrast on the button text, alignment issues in the icons, overlapping text in the announcement banner, and inconsistent text formatting. Yeah, so maybe it just doesn't like, there's a lot of like kind of little basic design kind of nits about the Selenium dev page that it doesn't like. And we don't know. So they may be real and maybe not. That's something for a human to triage and look into, but it's worth noting. And the cool thing here is the AI found some possible issues, and has the confidence interval and stuff on these things and confidence, 0.8, 0.85, but also tells you why to fix these types of things and how to fix those things. So a little bit of motivation, like a pretty decent bug report. These can be dropped right into Jira if you're verified by human or whatever. And so we've taken an existing script that just loads the page. We've added with one line of code. We've got the ability to right here to add some AI checking to the existing script. So this means, usually on a Selenium script, it'll go through and it'll like find the button it needs, maybe check a couple strings on the page and then click and go to the next page, right? As fast as it kind of can. What this does is that if you just add these calls at every major step or every major page load that you perform or gets loaded during your test automation, you can get some basic AI checks. Here's an ad at the end, I guess. But if you want like the super fancy versions, those are very light versions of testing agents that can't do a lot. They don't have access to all the data to do all the real testing. But there's a bunch more testers and everything's fully kind of supported, runs end to end in the cloud. And all that stuff. You can get basic testing done through testing agents. Check it out. There's even a video to demo to see all the things that it does. Work with XPOsoft and quality work. So with XPOsoft, we are basically making their testers smarter. So like their testers, so you basically get testing services from XPOsoft and the Checky.ai data feeds their testers and makes them smarter. So they know what to focus on and maybe what not to focus on to be more efficient. And it's a form of automation too. So as soon as you give them a build, they can quickly get back to you with results. And with QualityWorks working on two other applications of AI to testing services. One is so QualityWorks will also just fully maintain the cloud service. So they'll set it up, configure it, integrate it with your workflows, and then also kind of control and monitor the AI. So you can instant on just say, hey, I want AI testing services, and you can just cut them a check, frankly, and you have instant on guaranteed with a person to call, supported, AI coverage. That's the easiest way to get AI into your testing world. And then we're also looking to make their testers bionic, meaning that they might have the power of of a small team at hand at their disposal to do just a ton of testing. So rather than hire 3, 4, 5 testers from a testing vendor, you only have to hire one, for example. You get a ton more value. So thanks for the ad. Happy testing. If you have any questions, feel free to ping me on LinkedIn. It's probably the easiest way to get a hold of me. And if you want to contribute, it's open source. It's totally open source for all you nerds. And also, it only supports Python today, but the other languages should be easy to add with especially with AI. I'm just not an expert in Java, and other frameworks can be added too. So just be creative. Code's open, fully open source and everything. And thank you. Happy AI testing.